guys, welcome back to the Garitana. My name is Abby and today we are doing our weekly chakra healing video. I'm going to be using the Game of Thrones deck again because we is waiting for Game of Thrones to come through, so we is using the deck. Bottom of the deck for the reading is the Ten of Pentacles and the Empress. Very Taurus vibes, and I feel like that's kind of where the reading is kind of heading. However, don't be fooled into thinking that the reading is as good as that, because it is not. So starting with the root chakra, and before I start, I guess I should put a disclaimer. I am probably not feeling my best right now. Oh yes, the Akashic records are open, and I'm also like a little bit high for my spiritual police out there. Yes, you can do that. Unless you're gonna act crazy, then they're not gonna let you up there. But kind of fixed the issue as to why I was raging for the past 2 days, because yes, I have been raging for the past 2 days. Mind you, the moon is in Gemini and my moon is actually in Gemini, so it's just been a really bad 2 days for me. But definitely got a lot of messages and downloads today, because Spirit does not want me to be out here being pissed off and raging. So we done healed that, and now we're here. But for the root chakra, we have the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. Sorry, Ace of Wands, of Eight of Pentacles. There is still a little bit of laziness going on from last week moving into this week, and I know we have a full moon in Libra this week, and the moon is in Gemini this week, and there are a good amount of swords in this reading to kind of tell you to use energy properly rather than negatively, as I had to today. But there is this kind of bit of laziness where the root chakra is blocked because you have an opportunity presented to you, but you do not, for some reason, want to move on it. And this has to do because you didn't get it the way you wanted to. And I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. Ego work is not necessarily the easiest, but it's important to note that, especially I see it in the throat chakra coming out. With the cards that came out, it was just like, but it's kind of important to know that the sun representing our ego, and the sign that's under the sun presenting our ego, mind you, the sun is exalted in Aries, so Aries season is like the best season for the sun to be there, Aries and Leo, because the sun does its best work through Aries, is able to grow, integrate new ideas, move on different ideas, adapt to different things. So it's an evolutionary ego versus it being a stagnant one. So there is, it's just like a different energy. So it's exalted right now. That's energy in the sky, period. So for some of y'all not doing this right. Y'all not using this exalted Aries energy properly. There's just like kind of being in your feelings, being angry, being frustrated. I definitely feel you on that one, because that was me. I was raging for 2 days. Let me tell you, I was raging for 2 days. Feel better now, because Bae made me feel better, but that's not the point. Anyway, and then so like the message coming from the root chakra is like, if you want something, you're gonna have to work for it. I mean, Aries still goes on the journey, still has to take the steps, it still has to walk, you know what I mean? So if there's something that you want, that you know you're kind of headed towards, why aren't you taking the steps to continue in the direction that you're going to? Why are you pulling yourself away from what you know you're meant to do? There's kind of like, there's a laziness, but there's also a will. Your will is not focused in this area, even though that's what you're meant to be doing. So you're blocking your own blessings, you're blocking your own abundance, you're blocking your own growth, because you're not taking the mantle and taking your life in your own hands, basically. You're just kind of letting society just catch you up in a wave, instead of you doing what you're meant to do. And this kind of reminds me of like the articles that keep coming up about millennials like not doing the whole 9 to 5 thing, not wanting to do it, retiring early, retiring at 30, like just doing the things that society, like the way the last generation set the things up for us. We're just like, but this is ridiculous. Why would I want to do this? So there's an energy of why am I going to continue to give this energy? There's some people that have already decided, and there's some people that are still trying to make the past generation's view on society and what life should look like in this 9 to 5 bullshit work. And because of that, there's just, it's almost like you're too tired to focus on your own dream. So for some people, some other people are just too lazy. Some other people are just caught up in that wave and just can't justify messing up or just taking a chance on themselves in order to get out of the situation, because it's taking a chance and you don't know if you're going to get that, like if you're going to actually strike gold. So there is like a willpower situation going on. So there's a lot of ego work going on. There's a lot of mind work going on this week too. For the best way to heal this, you got the 9 of Cups in reverse and then the Page of Swords. And this is all about intention. And this is kind of really telling you to check your ego, one, because it's upside down. So you're not actually happy. So if you're going to intend to continue to let yourself be wounded on an ego level, on your willpower, like blocking your will by consciously choosing the actions that contradict your own ideas, your own life, your own creativity, your purpose, then you're actively be aware that you're setting that intention. But also be aware that because you're actively choosing this, you're setting the intention to not be happy as well. So you're gonna have to kind of pick your poison and swallow it, like make a decision. Do you want to keep suffering? Do you want to keep doing this mundane 9 to 5 thing? Is this what you really want to do? And then what are you gonna do about it? Becomes a question. Like, you've assessed a problem, you've decided that this is a problem. What are you gonna do about it? Are you just gonna keep saying that this is a problem and not fix it? Because that sounds really annoying, especially for a cardinal sun energy right now with the Aries. Is like, stop repeating me, stop telling me the same thing over and over, do something about it, please. I need to see action, I need to see a result, I need to see some sort of movement so I can not complain to you about the fact that you're not doing anything. So there's like a need for speed in many ways in the root chakra. For the sacral space, in the blockage we have the Ace of Cups and the Hangman, and there is some love stuff going on. I can see that in the reading. But emotionally, I feel like a lot of you guys are stuck. A lot of you guys are depressed. A lot of you guys are, and again, it's because you're not grounded in anything. What are you grounded in? You're not happy. You can't be happy because you haven't decided yet. So, right. So with the Hangman, it's just like you're stuck. You're mentally thinking, you're daydreaming, kind of picturing how things could be, how you can be emotionally fulfilled, all of these things. And there's almost like so much creativity. It's almost like you're sitting on so much, like on such a great idea that can bring you so much joy, and like that would ignite your passion for whatever it is that you want to do, but you're just not moving on it. So it's blocking your sacral space. And this could be with a person, or this could be with your actual work life, your creativity, your spirit. You could just be in a different, like almost in a different spiritual realm as well. Like I see a lot of people just dreaming, just going to sleep and dreaming and falling asleep and not like kind of just straight daydreaming, or working a lot with their subconscious, and just kind of seeing it in one realm but not actually being able to do anything about it. So there's like a lack of, like, the sacral chakra is it's an amazing manifestation channel, because this is where we give birth from. So this is our fertility. And so when it's blocked and is like not being used and is not being kind of put in into anything, into perspective in anything, it's just nothing is happening. So there's just continuously is just a dream of sorts, but it's not a reality. And it's kind of like you can't make it a reality, is what I'm seeing for the sacral space. Best ways to heal it, we have the 3 of Swords and the 6 of Swords. So definitely a need to address how you're actually hurting yourself, how you have been literally stabbing yourself in the heart emotionally, because mentally you haven't taken the you haven't mentally cleared yourself. Hold on. Okay, you haven't mentally cleared yourself in order for you to move forward. You haven't decided, and you just keep, you're like a broken record of ideas that you don't move on, and it's just, what are we talking about here? So there's a need to kind of start moving forward, like away from self-hurting, away from this kind of energy of mentally bringing yourself down, telling yourself you're not good enough, really staying in the darker areas mentally and emotionally, and really saying, okay, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I have to keep living my life. And how will you continue to live your life is the answer. It's how you're going to heal that. It's by actually doing something about it. For the solar plexus, we have sorry. We have the 8 of Wands and the 10 of Wands in reverse. And well, this is upright. The 8 of Wands is upright. But there's kind of like this weird energy in our solar plexus, and remember, this chakra is pure fire because it's our willpower, and we've been talking about ego already. So there is kind of this need to not struggle, but there is a struggle. But it's like you want quick results, you want things to happen quickly, but you don't want to struggle, but you're not letting yourself be in a position where you don't have to go through this. So it's like a contradiction. It's like you want something, but you don't want to do anything about it either. So it's like, best way to heal that, we have the 8 of Cups and we have the King of Cups. And this is a message that I got for myself for my reading today, because I did a reading. I was just like, okay, I know I'm mad, but just tell me about my day. What and I pulled the Temperance when I clarified it for my unconscious card, and when I clarified it, I got on one side it was like the King of Wands, on the middle it was the 8 of Swords, and then the other side it was the King of Swords. No, I'm sorry, it was a King of Cups, 8 of Swords, King of Wands. No, King of Cups, King of Swords, yeah. And it was just kind of like it was, to me, the way it just, I read it, the message was super clear. It was just like, in order to balance out, because emotionally it was just fire for me. I've been on fire for 2 days. I've been using the Aries energy negatively for 2 days, and so for me it was just like, you can't restrict your mind from your emotions. You need to, in order for everything to flow and you to be able to direct your energy and use your fire, your willpower, you need to have both tempered your emotions and your head. So my mind and my emotions. So those two things, mind you, I'm a Gemini moon, so my emotions are mental. So it has to be in balance. That duality, that emotional duality of mine has to be balanced. So there's kind of a need to do that here, where you have so much mental energy happening, but then you also have emotional energy that's kind of just dragging, and it's just about releasing. The King of Cups, it's kind of here like, hey, you're not a page, you're a king. Willpower wise, you need to remember that you are a king, because you're you. So you direct you ride your ship. You are the captain of your ship. Okay, so you need to remember that you're the one who can direct these emotions, manifest these emotions, and heal yourself on a spiritual level, heal your ego on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, by addressing your emotions and not just wiling out and getting crazy out here with the fire. So there's just a need to release a lot of things that are just not serving you at this point. That could be people, that could be your mentality, that could be negative egotistical habits, that could be a lot of shadow side work. It really depends, but there's just a lot of need to do some work on yourself this week specifically. So for the heart chakra, it was funny because it was just all people that came out in here, and I kind of feel like there's kind of a trifecta of stuff happening this week. We have like Knight of Cups, the King of Wands in reverse, and then the Queen of Swords. So for me, it was just like, why is there so many people up in this heart chakra space right now? It's just like a little bit, why? So for some people, it's really interesting, because I feel like when it comes to your heart chakra, you're not able to really move clearly through your heart space. And kind of just what I just talked about. This is literally what my reading was for the day, except for the middle card was the Eight of Swords. And when I clarified it more, I got the Wands. It was just like, you need to clear that. You can't use your passion if you don't do that. So it was just really like Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords, and the other side in the middle was just blocked. Like, you need to have it flow correctly. With your heart chakra, I can see some people going through this, but for some other people, I feel like this is like a, I don't want to say a triangle or third party situation kind of thing. I just kind of feel like there's like a situation where somebody's trying to communicate with someone, but they're not able to. They're kind of getting blocked. They know what they want to say. They know what they know how they feel about the situation, but for some reason, either they're not acting on saying something about it, or they're getting blocked. Their will is getting blocked by somebody else. So somebody else is beating your will, and this is kind of like very, in many ways, like Mercury retrogradish, where you like hit up an ex or whatever, and you're just like trying to get them to talk to you. And it just kind of feels like that for some people. There is a situation where you're getting hit up and you're just done with that and you're not even addressing it. And so it's kind of causing internal issues for the other person. Not that you necessarily, you don't have to care about it, but it's something that's happening that on your level, there has to be some amount of compassion towards the other person. There has to be some amount of, it's either like you have to be compassionate, or you have to tell them like straight up like, nah, I'm good, like just cut it out. And because there's two sides of the Queen of Swords, there's two sides to Cersei as well. There's like the side that's really passionate and blunt and cruel, and then there's the other side that can be very clear focused and nurturing verbally in order to get what she wants most of the time. But it's supposed to be just like a straight statement, like, hey, you know, it's the way air signs communicate and the way air signs love as well. It's just like very like, nah, I can't be stagnant air with you over here. I need to move this way. So there is kind of a need to kind of address that, because it's like somebody's willpower is blocking somebody else's, and they're really mad about it. Best way to heal that is we have the Seven of Pentacles and Death. I feel like there's some spell work happening as well, because the Seven of Pentacles hints at like an intention that was set. You know what I'm saying? So if, like, let's say you wanted to talk to your ex, but they had moved on already, there's an energy here of like, no, but you, like, if you practice, then you set the intention to call back that person in. But there is kind of, the universe is like, wait, no, that's not happening though. That's actually asking you to release that intention, because it's not meant for you. It's not going to happen. This person is already in a different path for their lives. They're going in a different direction, and you can't go with them in this direction. So there is a need to release. But I do see I feel like some people need to do some cleansing baths this week, some protection work, because some people definitely set intentions, but your willpower might actually be strong enough to beat this. For some of y'all whose willpower is all over the place, yeah, I need to do some protection work. But for others, just be mindful of people's intention this week. Don't forget that this is a card of Scorpio, so this is, and actually, aside from the Hangman, it's like the major arcana associated with a actual zodiac sign. So in here, the first one that we've gotten so far. So there is like a need to kind of process things like a Scorpio. I mean, we do have a full moon in Libra next week, so will be under the Scorpio energy, but you'll be able to kind of see people's colors next week, this week going on to next week. There's going to be a lot of things, just like people just kind of, they're setting this intention to see, to be, to talk, to communicate. They're not getting it, so be careful with that energy. I'm just saying. Now for the throat chakra, we have the Sun and the High Priestess in the blockage. Yeah, get me so upset sometimes. Okay, so the Sun and the High Priestess in the blockage for the throat chakra. There is, some people are getting a lot of messages for other people, but y'all not saying it. And it kind of has to do with, like, for some reason it has to do with, like, something that would actually kind of offend someone. Like, you know, it would kind of hurt someone for you to say, like, it's on an ego level where where you know this is gonna hit their core, but you need to communicate this message, but you're not actually speaking up the truth and saying what you know, because you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to say what needs to be said, but you know it needs to be said. Just kind of like a knowing that will affect and bring light into a situation. But if you say what needs to be said, it might just flip everything upside down. And it's almost like you're kind of gauging whether or not you want to have anything to do with that. So it's kind of like, it's a very frustrating energy, and I can see why it could be blocking your throat chakra, because you're not only, this hints at you having your third eye chakra blocked, but it's almost like if you don't have your third eye chakra blocked and you're getting a message for someone, you're not saying it, you're actually doing them a disservice right now. Especially also to yourself. Like, if that actually if somebody had told you something too, right? So if there's, I don't know, spiritual leader that you follow, someone who reads tarot, whatever, and they did a reading and you were just like, oh my god, But what happens if I accept what they just said because I know it's the truth? It's kind of like that. There's something that's like hitting, a truth that's hitting your ego that you kind of just got, basically your ass handed to you by someone who's like just has this knowledge. It's either you who has the knowledge or somebody else has the knowledge, and they just handed it to you, and you're just like, I'm not accepting that even though I know it's true. And you're kind of afraid to speak it into its existence because it hurts your ego. You don't want to let it go, as we've seen in the sacral space as well. So with the best ways to heal that, we have the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Cups. And the Nine of Swords is asking you to address the things that keep continue to keep you up at night, because you already know that this knowledge, you're turning it into swords instead of it being a blessing. Instead of it shining a light, you're making it into a darkness. You're like not trying to see what's right in front of you, you're trying to stay kind of ignorant to it. So there's kind of a need to address that and how that makes you feel on an emotional note, and why you continue to do this to yourself. So there's like a need to just kind of speak truth to something and just be honest with yourself on a spiritual level. Or like if you like, I don't know, you were seeing someone, or one of your friends that you've been friends with for like a short amount of time, but they keep giving you a vibe or something like that. Like, you just keep getting a vibe, you keep getting a message, it's gotten confirmed by universe, this person, that person, whatever, and you just keep getting a vibe and you keep ignoring it, but it kind of keeps bothering you, and when that person's around, it keeps reminding you, but you just keep, it's almost like you just need to say, like, and this actually happened before with one of my friends. Like, I kind of had a vibe when I first met her, but I like to give people chances. I'm a very, like, and actually that whole situation taught me not to be as open as I usually am, but I'm a Leo rising, so I'm always like, just like, you know, if I welcome you into my space, then, you know, welcome to your space, but I also have that awareness. So I gave her enough chances to show me what it was, like what was her true colors. And then when I found out, I was like, no. No, like, I already knew, but it took a breaking point for me to just like, no, because I accept people for who they are, but at the same time, who they are could be toxic as fuck, so you also have to accept that and process that as it is. And it was just like, it was a situation where she kind of came from one of my friends out of nowhere for no absolute reason, and I was just like, no, nope, nope, no, no, no. Like, you know, you can say certain things, and you can do like certain things, and kind of like that will kind of make my eyebrow go up, like, why did she just say that? That was kind of really unnecessary. Why are you telling me to do, like, why were you acting this way? But then when you come for someone I care about, like who's one of my friends, then it's just like, because I can treat you with a distance, you know, with a hand like this, and we could be cool and amicable. But then the second you move your hand from this to one of my friends, that's when, no. So I cut that out real quick, and it's just kind of like about that. You know the truth, but you just don't want to accept it, process it, and go to that point and say what needs to be said. Because it got to the point where I was like, I cannot believe she said all these things. I had to speak it. I had to say it, like everything she did, and I was like, okay, I know she said that before, and that really was weird, and I know she said that before, and why did she say that, and that didn't make any sense, and why are you talking about this person, and why did you say that? And it was just like I had to say it in order for me to process it. It's like, especially having a Gemini moon, sometimes I am my own therapist, especially as a Capricorn, we usually process things early, but sometimes, like, I have to call my sister and just be like, yo, but my sister's also a Capricorn, so it's also that, and just be like, yo, what in the world, just what, can you explain this to me, because it's making me feel weird, and then we'll have to like dissect it a little bit. So it's just about that, just like tell your truth, man. That's it. For your third eye, you have the Three of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. So there's something that universally is getting solidified into your life, a shift that is just, it's just happening. You have no control. You knew it was coming. Now it's here. It's happening, and you're just kind of like really bitter about it. You kind of don't want to let go of the way things were before, like the way the foundation is now, and the way foundation is getting built in your life. You just are kind of pissed that it's happening the way it's happening. And I know this has to do with a love situation, but you knew this was coming. Everything in the world told you this was coming, and now that it has come, it is time to stop dwelling in this space and just continue on, because your third eye is really important, especially when it comes to accepting messages that you already knew about. That is the important part. Like, you knew this, so can we continue now? It's like, this is not stagnation nation right now. We can go ahead and enjoy the hell out of our lives when Taurus season is here, but right now it's Aries season, and it's time to do something about stuff, not sit down and like be mad because your life is going on. Like, come on now. No. So for best way to heal that, we have the Four of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Six of Cups. Now, for some of you, you have gotten the message that there is something, someone either coming into your life, or you already have this person in your life, but you just didn't expect it to like switch over and be what it is now. But there is kind of a knowledge. I mean, this is the Gemini card. There is a knowledge, there is a knowing of a connection and understanding the connection, but you knew this was coming. You actually might have asked for this, but you thought maybe it was a different person. So like, let's say you're a witch and you did a spell and you were like, I want this person, this is the one, I know this is the one, or whatever, but the universe was like, nah, and they brought you the actual person and literally started just completely pushing out the other person because they were not what you thought they were in your life. You're kind of having to process the intensity and the nature of this connection, because it's very ancient as well, and there is kind of like you need to understand that this is something that is actually going to stay in your life for the long run. It's not something that's lighthearted by any shape or form. It's meant to be like a soulmate connection that teaches you a lesson, but in regards to love, it's supposed to it's supposed to kind of heal you emotionally in many ways, and bring that genuine nature that like, it's kind of like, it's not a superficial love, it's just a very deep connection. And it's kind of like, you knew, but you asked for this, Don't be asking spirit to give you things, and then when they give you the thing, you want to be mad because it's not what the person did. It wasn't them. Okay, let it go. So there is kind of a need to hold on to the actuality of your blessing, not just the old traumatic events that happened in the past, the old toxic relationships that happened in the past. There's just a need to heal that and like understand your process and be open to your journey, because you either have met this person or you're about to meet this person very soon. So there's kind of a need to prepare yourself for that, like to build yourself up and be strong up in this throne, and be ready to receive this. Got it? Okay. Now for the crown chakra, the blockage is a hermit in reverse and the tower. For my peoples in the back who has not been doing the work, yeah, we're going through a lot of physical ailments this week. I can see that because the hermit rules health. They are the card of Virgo, but they rule health. Also, I can see some Virgos being very much having kind of going through it a little bit, because they're kind of forced to break out of their nature and unhermit in many ways, and kind of just like show up and really address their own kind of cave and like what it caused them to do all the things that they did before. There's kind of like this is very karmic, especially with Uranus is happening really fast in the crown space. Some people are getting you're just having a lot of health problems this week. If you have not been doing the work on yourself, if you have not been taking the time to heal, you're just having a lot of healing problems this week, health problems this week, and healing problems this week. And this is very mental. This is almost like if you didn't set the intention to be better and to kind of prioritize yourself, you're going through it this week, and it's just gonna be kind of coming out of nowhere. It's stuff will happen out of nowhere, especially in your head. Be careful with any like head traumas, injury, like any type of accidents. Like take it easy, go with the flow, be aware, be alert. Don't stress yourself out. Like make sure you're taking time to like relax, do some tea, do some yoga, chile, okay? Because I do see things that could happen this week that can just up and change the whole course of your health. So be careful with that, especially with your crown. The lack of connection to your higher self and the lack of being properly grounded is going to really impact you this week in a negative way. So I just want to make sure that understand this. The best way to heal that this week is to check your ego, because we have the 6 of Wands, the 8 of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Swords. So there's a different intention that needs to be set. 1, you need to treat yourself better. 2, you need to connect with yourself, both spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Your ego needs to be in check, and you can't block yourself in this area. It's really important that you don't, because when you do, you're hurting yourself, and you're hurting others as well, because you're not being your best self, but you're hurting yourself more than you think, because you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking your dreams, you're blocking your love life, you're just blocking everything. So there's a need to be present with yourself. If stuff's happening around you, make sure you're still strong, make sure you're still doing the things that you need to do to build yourself up, to have confidence, to be clear-headed, to move with direction, with purpose, with drive, with just clarity. So there's some need to kind of let things flow and not be mentally stuck. Like we're not about that life this week. So it's about that time to do the oracle reading for this week. So just so you guys know, in May I am going to LA with Bae. But yeah, we're going to LA for a week, so I will be vlogging that, but I'm also going to be doing I might have to do the weekly video at the airport. We'll see how that works. I might just do it again. We'll see. But yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed for that week, but I mean, I know it's still a little bit early. We're still in April. I'm starting to let you know now, okay? Capricorn, we plan things early, so yeah, no, okay? I'm gonna have the, hold on, trying to get this. I'm gonna have the Botanica Essentials video up next week, and this week we're going to focus a little bit more on healing, because yeah, it's just all over the place. So there are going to be a couple videos posted. I'm probably going to post them, I think, Thursday, because we're still doing the astrology series. We're still doing some other stuff. I know I asked on Twitter for if you guys want me to do a soulmate I guess video, but that video would be really long, and I literally got asked and I was like, it's probably gonna be like 2 hours. I was thinking about making it to a workshop. Let me know if you guys would want it to be a workshop, because there's just a lot of information. There's a lot of things to do. There's different ways to heal, a lot of different things. It's a lot. Even like 3 hours. I can honestly write a book at this point, but I just want to make sure that like I can, you know, do it. So I might break it up into a series, but it might just take a long time to do. Let me know your thoughts on the soulmate series or the soulmate workshop or whatnot. What you guys think would be the best way to kind of put it together. I'm still working on a couple other projects, definitely the workshops, and definitely the super secret project that I'm gonna let you guys know in a different time, because I kind of working on a project. Like, Bay's been pushing me to work on a project that I've been trying to get done for a really long time, because I've had the idea to do this in a long time, and ever since I told her that I work better under pressure, she gave me a deadline. So I appreciate it though, because it's actually been working, but I was just saying. So yeah, so I just have a lot of stuff happening this week, but we'll see what else is happening. Still going to Mexico in July. You're gonna expect that vlog. I might live stream the Aztec workshop from Mexico. I don't know how good the internet's gonna be, or if I can. We'll see, but I'll try my best. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. This week. Ooh, okay, 2 cards. So yeah, so I'll let you guys know as stuff comes up, but there are a couple vlogs coming up, and I will be doing the Botanica Essentials next week. So the first card is 17. Ghostlands. You can learn from the past and imagine a beautiful future, but you must live in the here and now. I feel like I've done this before. Wherever you set your sights too far ahead, you run the risk of losing your footing. For rarely do the present and the future match up exactly as the enchanted map that is your life story. The future has no substance right now. It is a place that has no grounding as of yet. You can live there, yet you can't live there, yet you can make measured steps towards a goal or dream. These steps are important now. The same goes for nostalgia. You can look into the past wistfully and remember beautiful moments or revisit lessons learned. However, you can't live there, nor can you go back and change what it was. Yesterday is gone forever. Live fully in the present. The now is the most powerful place to put your attention. Its magic reaches out to in every direction, further than the heart and soul can see. Why do I do tarot readings? 39. Protecting treasure. You are always protected and divinely directed. Although this is a time of great risk, know that it's fundamental at a fundamental level that you are able to move forward safely and securely. The proverbial nest egg is safe and sound no matter the fluctuations of the world. Guardian angels and other guides are whispering to you, making you aware of the protected presence. Your loyalty is important theme now. Nurture that which you hold dear. This is a good time for straighten bonds of friendship and ensure their integrity. If you feel tested right now, know that a true and loyal heart always achieves its aim. Take refuge under the angel's wing. You are not alone and have no need to fear. Embrace your courage. Lots of messages. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.